a senior advisor of the Israeli Deputy Minister of Defense, Idit Druyan. She joins us live now from Tel Aviv. Thank you for being with us on the program. Now, the Justice Minister is currently under pressure by these protesters. What will his next course of action be in response to these demonstrations?
Good evening. Good to be here. Thank you for having me. So I think what is happening now in Israel is that the government understands, and I think most of the politicians understand, that what we need is a compromise. And that's where we're going to. Even if we would not, the compromise would not be achieved by tomorrow, when the judges debate on this law, I think that this is the course that we'll see in the upcoming few months in Israel.
What kind
we'll
of a
also
right?
see protests.
Right. You mentioned compromise. What kind of a compromise can we see between the government and these protesters? We know that they've been defying these judicial reforms for months now, saying that they're being stripped of their democracy.
Right. So first of all, we need to make it very clear. Our basic, I think, principle for this discussion is that Israel has a strong and vibrant democracy. That's why we can see demonstrations supporting the judicial reform, or saying a very loud and clear voice against that reform. So we have a vibrant democracy. And as you know, we have political representatives, members of Knesset and ministers, and they debate together with the president of the state of Israel, and they try to reach a compromise. A compromise would probably include making the legislation that was planned a bit softer, trying to postpone different parts of the legislation until things will come down, and even then trying to do it with not from up to down, but as a debate.
Right.
I think that's the major lesson that they've learned.
Right. Israelis have been loud and clear in their opposition against these reforms. As you mentioned, they've been holding protests for a long time now, and they're particularly opposing it because it gives more power to Netanyahu and his government. Will this change the way that Netanyahu leads the country and his policies?
I think Netanyahu has been at the prime minister's seat for a few years now. And I think he wants to concentrate on defense, on global issues, the Israeli-American relationships, different global allies that we have around the world. And I think that's what mattered to him before, and that's what will he promote in the future. And he said, by the way, that a compromise, a reasonable compromise that would be offered, he will accept it. He said it loud and clear. Different members of his government didn't say it as loud, as clear as he did. But as you said, he's the prime minister. He's been here for almost 2 decades, I think. And I think we can trust that specific quote.
All right, Idit Druyan, thank you so much for being with us here on the NewsHour and sharing that insight with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.